Coming up, a gaming accessory that's going to blow your mind and maybe blow your chunks. We'll also take a look at a new device that does something cool to your smartphone. It turns it into a real camera from Sony, a giant laptop from Acer, and then I review the brand new and very expensive Little Big Disc. It's time to watch before you buy.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Before You Buy is brought to you by CashFly at CACHEFLY.com.
Before You Buy is brought to you by NatureBox, where you can order great tasting, healthy snacks delivered right to your door. Forget the vending machine and get in shape with healthy, delicious snacks like garden tomato crunchies. To get 50% off your first box, go to naturebox.com/twit. That's naturebox.com/twit. Hey, welcome to Before You Buy, Twit's product review show where we get the most interesting, latest, and greatest. We bring it in here and we let our Twit staff play with it. Now, there was one product we had here a couple of days ago that I wasn't going to let anybody play with. This one was for me. A new gaming accessory. It's actually on Kickstarter right now. They're trying to raise money for it. But it's got a working prototype, and we were able to play with it. It's called the PrioVR, and I recorded this review for you on Sunday. Usually on Before You Buy, we show you products you can buy, but this is really before you buy, before you can buy. But I thought a very interesting technology. We've got Paul Yost here. He's chief of R&D at a company called YEI Technology. Hi, Paul. Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you.
We've seen the Oculus Rift. We've seen virtual reality environments before. You came to town. You're going to go to JPL and show this to NASA. You're also going to be here for the Game Developers Conference and show this to game developers.
Right.
What is this technology?
Essentially what we have here with PrioVR is a full-body motion capture suit that allows you to very accurately, very precisely, and with very low latency take the motions of a player or user, if it's a serious application, and get them into either a game or a simulation to be used.
Cool. So it's not a headset where I would see, you're going to be looking at a screen here, but it is motion capture, which is interesting. You know, I know a little about a motion capture. I was a motion capture character on MSNBC, won an Emmy for it back in 1997, and I had to wear a suit with sensors all over it. We had a Silicon Graphics Onyx computer, $1 million computer, receiving the sensors. It broke all the time. In fact, that guy right there, Karsten Bondy, who produced this segment, you rotated my hair, right, Karsten? I think that was his, he was responsible for my hair. So this has kind of gotten into the consumer grade, basically, the point where it's affordable, is that right?
Essentially what we're looking to do is take that professional quality motion capture experience and put it in the hands of everyday users so they can have that kind of experience at home. So, and what it does for us is allows you to play games in a totally different way or have experiences in a totally different way than rather than being constrained by a game controller with a finite number of options. Essentially, you can do whatever you want in those environments.
So Chris, he's the guinea pig. Hi, Chris. Are you a developer at YEI, with YEI? Or?
Yes,
yeah.
yes, I am.
So he's wearing the suit, and I see he's got sensors on his knee, sensors on his thigh. He's got a chest unit, which I presume is gathering the information. Is
Correct.
that right? Sensors on his biceps. You've got sensors on your wrists. You're holding sensors. There's even a head strap. What is that sensing?
The head strap is sensing the head motion. And one of the things, you mentioned the Oculus earlier, that we are compatible with head-mounted display systems.
So you
like
could have an Oculus on, and then, wow.
And when we go to do the demo,
immersive.
we have an Oculus down there, and we're going to have you try that.
Oh, you're kidding? You want to make me throw up? Is that the goal here?
That's the idea.
Paul, that's exciting. This will be a first. How much are we talking, though? I mean, you know, as I said, when I was dev null, it cost more than $1 million to do it.
Okay, we have a Kickstarter underway right now. Our price point for the suit that Chris is wearing now is at $349.
Wow.
So essentially, we're providing this professional motion capture experience at $349, and we have one step above this in performance as well that adds to the shoulder articulation, foot articulation for essentially a professional quality mocap rig, and that is under $400. That's $399.
That for a controller, for a gamer, especially a controller of this complexity, that's a completely reasonable price. That's not outrageous at all. $350 or even $400. Are there any? Is there an API, an SDK? Are there games that work with this? How does it work?
Essentially, what we're doing on the software side of things is we're providing a set of sample games with it that will be released with the
Much like the
Kickstarter.
Oculus Rift.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we're also doing a lot of work on the back end to make it as easy as possible for developers to use this in their development process. So we have an API, we have a precompiled DLL, we have an SDK. So essentially, no matter whether you're an indie developer or using one of the major engines like Unity or UDK or CryEngine, we're making it as easy as we possibly can to get our system's data into those in an effective way.
So if it works with those engines, it sounds like it would work on both PCs and consoles, because Unity and Cryon are used on consoles too, right?
Our goal is we're starting with a PC with a Kickstarter. Our goal is to move into the console market or arena shortly after that. There's a little more to do since we're actually a hardware peripheral to get into the console spaces. But
this doesn't show up as a console controller. Or does it?
It potentially could, but that's something that we have to navigate going forward.
How much smarts is there? Is there a CPU in this chest case?
Interestingly, there's actually a high-performance microcontroller in every one of the sensors and another one in the chest. So all of the computation, all of the difficult heavy lifting of computing the pose of the player is done on the suit itself, which frees the host from having to do any processing other than communication.
That's one big change from when I did it. We had to have $1 million computer because you couldn't have the sensors have that much smarts, but now with microprocessor technology.
Right.
What kind of microprocessors are you using?
These are all 32-bit RISC architecture. It's actually a combination. There's a different architecture.
Are they ARM processors?
These are ARM processors, which is kind of a pun, I guess, because they're
arms on your arm.
But and this is another. And this is a prototype, so the one we're using in here isn't the final one, but that's actually a 32-bit AVR with a floating point unit on the one in the chest. So.
And the operating system?
The operating system here, there's actually bare to the metal, actually no operating system on this at all. In order to optimize it, we wrote the code directly.
It's all in hardware.
It's all in hardware.
So this is great. So this is a game you wrote to demonstrate it, right?
Correct.
Is this what you're going to show NASA?
This is what we're showing to them, and this is also what we're going to be showing at GDC.
We need to be ready for the zombie apocalypse. Even the NASA needs to prepare. The JPL needs to prepare. So he's aiming and shooting with his hands. It's kind of like a Nintendo Wii, right?
A little bit, except with our system, rather than having like the light bar at the top that, so there's no optics here at all. There's no sensors here at all. It's all in the suit itself.
So the Sony Move or the Wii both requires sensors there.
Which essentially has this limiting factor on the capture space you can have.
He's pointing it right at me. Yeah, this is good. So you can move anywhere in the living room, and you don't have to move furniture out of the way. It doesn't matter. And he squats, and he's crouching. So this is going to be some exercise for some gamers. This is fun. The whole idea of gaming is to get it more immersive. That's why the Rift is people so excited with the Rift. But the Rift by itself is just I can move my head around, right?
Right.
So the idea of having a mocap suit that gives you complete mobility, with the 9 points you've got or the more points on the bigger machine, are you able to kind of how much of the motion can you capture? It looks like he's
pretty much essentially anything. So he can lean around trees, he can take cover, he could actually lie on the ground in the grass, prone and shoot. Pretty much whatever you want to do, it'll track.
That is pretty cool.
And so, interestingly, even again, getting away from that constraint of the controller, you can do anything you want. So if you're running away from somebody and want to shoot behind you, you can actually point the gun back over your shoulder and shoot. You could shoot under the leg, behind the back, pretty much anything that you want.
And there he swings a bat. And so it's just moving his arm in a very natural motion, kind of like the Kinect, the Wii, or the Move, but without any sensors, which is really great. Is there anything else you want to show us with this?
I want to get you in the suit and get you.
You're going to get me in it. Oh my God! All right.
We'll get you in the Oculus demo, and you can actually look down and see your hands and fight some zombies.
That sounds really nauseating. Okay. I mean, really.
There's a zombie behind you.
What? Oh, hey. This is fun. It's never been so easy to kill zombies.
And you can also, if they get too close, you can actually pistol or rifle whip them.
Can I melee them?
Yes, you can.
How do I melee them?
You swing your arms.
Just hit them, huh?
Yep.
And if you want, we could switch you to a baseball bat, which is a lot of fun too.
Yeah. So that weapon is this thing? This button?
So push that button, and then you push the stick to the left or there we go. So there you go. Oh, there's one behind you.
Oh, I can tell. Hey, where? Oh. This is fun. There's a little Dev Null coming out in this. What is that, a helicopter? Boom, boom. Bitty, 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 bitty. I can't get around the fence. I guess I have to go around. Hey, let's come over here. Come here. Whap! Whap, 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 whap. Hey, are you dead? Is that guy a good guy or a bad guy?
He's there to rescue you, but you can take, it down if you want to.
I can?
Yes, if you switch back to one of the guns or the
I gotta tell you,
launcher.
this is a lot of fun. And you know, because it's immersive, it's really a much more realistic experience. And one of the problems I have with, where are you going? All right, let's try a different, yeah. So I can shoot the, all right. Where's that helicopter? Hey, sneak up on him, man. Hey, helicopter, hey. Wait, you see that there? That's my laser.
Oh, there's a zombie getting you.
What? No, stop it. Where are you? What are you doing down there? Oh, this isn't like a rocket gun. I need a better gun. Bat? That's the one? All right. Where is he? All right, let's see. I know this is really not right, but... so I have to aim this, huh?
And that one you have to aim. That one you have to aim high because it actually grenades that will.
Yeah, it's good. It's real. Yeah. Oops. No. Yeah. This is really, really fun. All right. Pros. It's affordable. It works great. It's a really great gaming experience. It's making me queasy, but I guess that's something you get used to, right? The price is right. Cons, you know, you need games, and as soon as you get game developers working with this thing, I think this is going to be just huge. I am getting a little nauseous, so I'm just going to take my head off right now. That is a lot of fun. Wouldn't you love to do this, Michael? Wow. It's very realistic. You really feel like, even at 720p, you really feel like you're in. That's why I'm getting queasy. Really nice. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. Very exciting. If you want to participate in the Kickstarter, they're still doing it. PrioVR. Just search for that on Kickstarter.
Correct.
$350 for the basic unit. Are you selling the $400 unit on the Kickstarter?
Yes, that's on the Kickstarter.
Right, and it has more sensors.
And we have a third tier that's the unit you're wearing now for people who are lazy and just want to sit on their couch. That we have one that's at $279.
I like the couch, no knees, right? Couch potato version. But you'd want to move around a little bit. That is awesome. Thank you very much. What a great demo. Thank you, Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Get me out of this thing before I barf. Literally, I was actually getting nauseous. Somebody's since written in to tell me that when they fly planes, like the gravity, low gravity plane, no gravity, he said this works every time. And gamers, this is a tip for you. You keep a little bowl of ice cold water with washcloths in it, and you just apply a cold, damp washcloth to the back of your neck. Boom, you feel better immediately. I wish I'd had that. I had to take a nap.
I believe it.
After that review, I just, it was a little too realistic. By the way, the PrioVR is still on Kickstarter, but only till the end of the month. That doesn't mean you won't be able to get it, but there are only a few days left to back that project. I think even at the retail price, it is a remarkably priced product. It's fun. It really does work. I really liked it a lot. Anyway, that's the review. Did I not say whether to buy it? I think I didn't say it. I don't know if we should say try, don't buy, try, buy, because it's not out yet. If you're a gamer, I would buy it. All right. I'm just saying. Let's take a look now at something very interesting. And maybe you saw this when it first came out. It looks like just a lens, a Sony lens. Turns out you could clip it right on a smartphone and use it and turn your smartphone into like a real camera. We gave it to one of our newest employees, one of our great editors, Victor Bagnot, and we got this review.
Hi, my name is Victor from Twit, and today I will be reviewing the Sony DSC QX10 smartphone attachable lens style camera. Now, this may look like it's just a lens, but within this small form factor is a complete point and shoot camera. What you won't find on this camera is an LCD screen, because what it does is it pairs with your smartphone or mobile device by Wi-Fi to be able to see what you're shooting. But before we get into how that works, let's go into some of the hardware features. It has a Sony G lens with a 10 times optical zoom, connects to an iOS or Android device by Wi-Fi. You can even use NFC. It can shoot 1080p video at 30 frames per second. A rechargeable battery pack rated at 200 images. It charges by micro USB and takes micro SD and memory stick micro cards. You can technically operate the camera without pairing it to any mobile device by pressing the shutter button, and there are even physical zoom rockers. There is a tiny display showing battery life as well. When you take a picture or take a video, even when you're using your smartphone to preview, it is saving the full res image to the internal memory card in the camera. For remote operation or to switch to video mode, you do need to download the Sony Play Memories app on the iOS or Google Play app stores. The app gives you the basic controls like zoom, shutter, and has 3 preset modes, program mode and 2 auto modes. With program mode, you can adjust aperture and ISO settings and touch an area to adjust focus. The first time operating using the app is an exercise in frustration. Clipping the QX10 to a smartphone and trying to use it like a point-and-shoot camera is very hard to do in normal settings such as a party because the startup time of the app and connecting to the camera makes it hard to shoot on a whim. The lag time when you're getting an image once pressing the shutter on screen, it takes what seems like seconds to find focus and take a picture. By the time the shutter clicks, people have stopped smiling and have already started moving on their way. So if you're getting this for a special event, like the next day, I would give it a week or so in advance to get used to the lag and get the timing right to take pictures. Sometimes while shooting the video, the Wi-Fi would disconnect and the QX10 would still be filming. Even when you reconnect, the only way I've found to stop the QX10 from filming is to press the power button on the camera. The final image is usually much better than the preview, but will throw you off when you're initially using the camera. With the app, you can also transfer pictures from the memory card in the camera to your mobile device for sharing, although it transfers a lower res preview over Wi-Fi. To get the full res photos, you will have to take the memory card out of the camera and transfer using your computer. Interesting note, even though the camera is connected to your smartphone, the photo apparently does not save GPS location data, which may be a reason for some to get a Wi-Fi connected camera. You may think after hearing all that there's nothing really good to say about this camera, but as a camera, I have to say that when you have good lighting, the pictures and the video actually look really good. Much better than the smartphone camera, even on par with many low to mid-range point-and-shoot cameras. In low light or indoors, a steady hand is needed to take sharp pictures because the camera will take longer to focus and shutter. Also, another thing to consider is that there is no flash. So the pros for the QX10, the picture and video resolution actually look really good for this camera at this price point. The remote operation, tripod mount, using standards like micro SD and micro USB charging, and the replaceable battery. For the cons, the Wi-Fi lag is inconsistent and can be pretty frustrating. There's long startup time. The lighting on your device's screen is not a good indication of the final photo. Especially in low light situations, the handheld shots can be blurry. Battery life is something you also have to be aware of because it will be using Wi-Fi and you will be draining both the camera's battery and the mobile device. For me, this would fall on the specialized application category like the sports cameras such as the GoPros. What you do get over the sports cameras is an image without the fisheye distortion and an optical zoom. I got the best results from leaving the camera on a tripod and remotely using a mobile device. If you do need to go handheld, it was more reliable to get a good picture using the shutter on the camera as opposed to the LCD screen. Seeing how the remote features have some quirks to still work out, I'm gonna have to give this a don't buy. I am, however, excited to see what Sony's gonna do with the second generation of these, if they come out with a second generation of these. I would love to see a small LCD screen so that you can see the images immediately while carrying around this camera. I'm Victor from Twit, and this was my review of the Sony DSC QX10.
Thank you, Victor Bognot, for that review. I gotta say, I commend Sony for trying stuff. It's a bizarre idea, but you know what? That's what makes innovation happen, is people trying things that you would say, that's not gonna work, and it does. Hey, Are you ready for snacks, Shannon?
I'm always ready for
Shannon
snacks.
Morse is sitting here, our producer, and Before You Buy, you're about to review the Acer Aspire. And of course, you know, when you got a review coming on, you got to make sure you keep your blood sugar up. How about some delicious Fuji apples? Just take the whole bag. It's Nature Box time. We are so happy to have Nature Box as a sponsor. In fact, if you look in our snack cupboard, yes, we have a lot of those, you know, vending machines, salty snacks that probably aren't so good for you. But we also have, yeah, it's good, isn't it? Or maybe you'd rather try my sour, these are really good, sour cream and onion almonds. Yeah, have those too. Smoky barbecue peas. Now this is an odd one, admittedly, but once you start eating these, you know what? If you ever had wasabi peas, it's like that, only it's a smoky barbecue flavor. They're really good. Nutritionist approved. Nothing from Nature Box has high fructose corn syrup. There are 0 trans fats, no artificial colors or flavors, no artificial sweeteners, no partially hydrogenated oils, only the very best. If you go to naturebox.com/twit, you'll get a special deal on your first Nature Box. You can subscribe or you just get 1 box and see how you like it. But you know, the 3, 6, or 12-month subscription is a gift of healthy, delicious snacks that just keeps on giving. Anywhere in the U.S., shipping is free. You can select by taste, savory, sweet, or spicy. You could do what we did, which was just get a completely, you know, mix of stuff, which is a lot of fun because you can see all the different. There's things I wouldn't order normally, but boy, once you try them, you go, cranberry, macaroon, granola, give me more. You can also select by dietary need if you need to. Vegan, soy, lactose, or nut-free, gluten-conscious, non-GMO. So you can put a, what? What are you reading? You're reading the Fuji apples?
Yeah, it's funny. Ingredients, apples.
Well, see? But you know what? Look on the back of other dried fruits. There may be a little more than just apples. Not here, not with Nature Box, but from those other guys, the ones you get in the machine. Homemade apple crisp is baking in the oven. Light whipped cream is chilling in the fridge. And this cranberry and coconut-kissed granola is perched on your countertop. Enjoy a few decadent bites before scattering it onto the par-baked apple crisp and letting it toast to a golden brown. Or just eat the whole bag in one gulp. Forget the apple crisp. Naturebox.com/twit. 50% off your first box. You are going to love it. And I got to tell you, we're gonna have to get a bigger box. The staff keeps eating all our Nature Boxes up.
My fault, sorry.
No, they're good. No. That's what we got them for. They're good. Naturebox.com/twit. Shannon Morse snubs, now the host of co-host of Techzilla with my old buddy Patrick Norton. How do you find working with Patrick?
Oh, it's great.
He's
a horrible person.
Has he broken out the sledgehammer yet?
Not yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
It's so fun. I'm just thrilled that you're doing that with him. And Techzilla, TEKZILLA.com, and of course it's on Revision 3. This is a pretty big laptop you've got here, LaCie. It's the Acer Aspire E1. Tell us about it.
So it's a desktop replacement, obviously. It's large. It weighs a little less than 5 pounds total, and it's
oh, that's not that heavy.
Yeah, it's not bad, to be honest.
Something of that size.
Very plasticky, so definitely cheap. The total price of this version that I have is $599.99, $600, but you can find them for as little as $399 total. So pretty decent price, definitely budget friendly if you're looking for something to replace an older laptop. This one thing to mention is the battery life. It was only about 4 hours on this, so you're not going to be traveling with this very much, especially since it weighs quite a bit as well. And it's large, it's 14 inches, the screen is. One thing to notice about the screen too, especially when you go to the start menu, no touch screen, surprise.
Oh.
That drives me nuts with Windows 8.
Yeah, Windows really wants touch.
8.1. Yeah, it's a necessary item when you're coming to Windows 8.
But frankly, it's one of the things that's often left out on these low-priced
computers. It is, yes. All the comparative models that you have on the market right now from Lenovo and from Dell and everything else, all of them have no touchscreen when they're around that $400 to $600 price.
They usually have lousy screens too. How's the screen?
They do, yeah. This one is, it can only go up to 720p. It's 1366 by 768. So it's pretty low, yeah. I'm kind of spoiled with my newer laptops these days, and I prefer something at least higher than that, at least 1920 by 1080.
But your newer laptops cost twice as much.
That's true.
That's the
Yeah.
difference, right?
If you want something under $1,000, you're going to get the
Right,
smaller
right.
resolution.
This would be, so let's think of the market for this. Who would this be for?
This could be for a student. It could be for somebody on a low budget, somebody who doesn't have a full-time job, for example.
There are a lot of Windows XP users who have, they just use it a little casually.
Exactly.
They just want to
Yeah.
surf, do
They
some
want to
email.
go to Facebook.
And they don't, and they look at the computer prices, they say, I can't justify $1,200.
Yeah.
Would this be a good choice, maybe?
This would be, yeah. So one thing I was thinking about when I was checking this out is I look for budget laptops for Linux Mint. Mint doesn't require a lot of space. It's also very user-friendly when it comes to a non-touchscreen device. This would be complementary for me to use Linux on. So I would replace Windows 8.1 and just switch to Linux full-time. Or I could dual boot as well, but I don't really like dual booting myself. One thing to mention as well, this would be good for somebody who takes a lot of pictures, like your mother or a person with a baby or something like
Why
that.
is that?
It has a 500 gig hard drive instead of a smaller solid state drive.
Yeah.
So plenty of space for anybody who needs that. However, the boot time is a lot slower because of that hard drive.
Sure.
So quite a bit slower. It does have pretty decent insides though as well. It has an NVIDIA GeForce 820M graphics.
I'm surprised to hear that.
Yeah, me too.
Huh.
It's kind of weird, huh? It also has 8 gigs of memory instead of just 4, so quite a bit of memory.
So they didn't stint
Plenty
there.
of processing power as well. It has a Core i5 Haswell processor. So lots of good specs on the inside. It also has all the ports that you would need as well. It has, let's see, HDMI, VGA, USB 3.0, has an Ethernet port as well, which is great. And it has 2 more USB 2.0 on the other side.
No optical disc, though.
No optical disc, yes, that's
So it's
true.
not quite a desktop replacement. Or maybe nowadays, we don't care.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
We're using a lot more USB flash drives and things of that nature, so it could definitely replace that.
Ozzy, what do you think? Is the Acer E1
Do you like it, Ozzy?
a good deal? He says,
Hey, buddy.
No, but I'll take that nature box off your hands if you
He
want.
looks hungry.
All right, how about the keyboard?
The keyboard was
trackpad.
good. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
full keyboard. I found this really interesting. Some of the newer Acer models, the Ultrabooks, they have squished keyboards.
Yes.
The page up and page down are right above the arrow keys.
Right.
And the tilde key is squished right here next to the caps lock. They have spaced out everything really well for you, especially if you have larger fingers or if you have larger hands. You have plenty of room. I actually found it a little bit harder because I'm used to chiclet keyboards.
Yeah.
So it was harder for me to remember that I need to move a lot more. The touchpad as well is pretty good. It's very responsive, so really good touchpad. And you have a right and left clicker at the bottom that is separate, so you're not going to accidentally click those. And it's very quick. I very much liked it.
Pros and cons?
Pros and cons. Pros, it includes all the ports that you would ever need. It's less than 5 pounds, which is pretty good for a desktop replacement, and it has a great keyboard and touchpad. On the con side, though, it does have a super slow boot up. There is no touchscreen. If you are looking for a touchscreen device, you're going to have to spend a little bit more. The 1366 by 728 or 768 screen is definitely low res, especially in this day and age. Again, that's something that you'll end up spending more for. And low battery life and much bloatware. There are plenty of extra things that are, see, there I go, trying to touch the screen.
Yeah, you did. I saw
Drives me
that.
nuts. I do that every
Wow.
time.
All right.
But if I scroll over, there's a bunch of stuff that is pre-installed for
Well,
you when
you'd
you receive
expect that,
this.
unfortunately.
Yeah, so I'd replace it all with
Yeah,
Linux.
we don't think that's a good thing. It's not like you're getting some great free stuff. It's usually just kind of trialware and junk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, there are a lot of comparative models on the market. Like I said, there's a Dell Inspiron 15. That one costs around $400. There's also a Lenovo Z40 Touch that will be releasing pretty soon this month, and that one's going to be $600. So that's going to be the same price, and it's going to have very comparative specs as well.
Okay.
So given the fact that there are so many on the market, and they're all pretty much the same right now, I would have to give this a try. Maybe buy. Maybe don't buy.
Really, for the, if
think it's a try.
it's for who it is. That's
yeah.
what matters, and I
Yep.
think try is a good choice for that because it isn't for
Exactly.
everyone, but for some people this might be enough.
Mm-hmm.
Acer, you know, does the high-end stuff and does
They
the
do.
low-end stuff.
They have
And,
the Acer Aspire S7, which is beautiful.
You and I love the S7,
Yes.
and so does Mary Jo Foley. You know, this is a nice, but it's $1,300. It's a nice high-end laptop.
Yes.
I've never been really blown away by Acer's inexpensive stuff, but this seems, if you understand what you're getting for the price.
Yes, exactly.
A try from Shannon Moore snubs, our producer and regular host on Tech Zilla. Nice to have you. I'm glad you wore your Twitter shirt today. Hey, you know, one thing there's never enough of, that's juice, battery juice for our portable gadgets. We're always running out. Wouldn't it be cool if you could get an external battery that worked, that gave you all the juice you need? We've got one from a company I really like, Anker, A-N-K-E-R. They're Anker Astro. We gave it to Aaron Newcomb. He's a regular on All About Android and Floss Weekly, and we asked Aaron, what do you think? Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Aaron Newcomb, occasional co-host here on the Twit Network, and I'm here today to talk to you about external batteries for your portable devices. I know it's a sexy topic. We're going to try to make it sexy. Today we're going to be talking about the Anker Astro 6,000 milliamp battery. Now this battery currently resells online for about $30, so it's a really good deal. So one of the things you'll notice right off the bat is it has a really nice charging indicator or level indicator. All you have to do is shake it and the little indicator comes on and it'll show you exactly how much level, what the battery level is. Also the finish itself is really nice. It's got a black matte finish which prevents, you know, too many fingerprints, but you can see maybe close up. Even in the few minutes that I've been using it, there are a few fingerprints on it, so you may have to clean it off from time to time, but it shouldn't be as bad as something glossy and reflective. It does have a very rugged feel. It's nice and sturdy, so you can put this in your pocket or put it in your backpack, and you're not going to have to worry about getting it dings or messed up or anything. It's nice and solid. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall apart. And then the other nice thing about the look and feel is the ports here on the top actually are recessed. There's nothing sticking out. So when you actually put this in your backpack or something, you're not going to have to worry about something breaking off. So they've done a really nice job about keeping everything out of the way, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, let's talk about mobility or portability. As you can see, this is about the size of a candy bar, so it'll fit really nicely into your pocket or into your backpack or into your purse or whatever. There'll be no problems taking this with you wherever you go. As far as compatibility, they've done a really nice job on this device, making it compatible with both Apple devices, Samsung devices, Nexus devices from Google, any kind of manufacturer that you can think of. What they've done is they've built smarts into the little plug right here. So when you plug in an Apple device, it recognizes that as an Apple device, outputs the correct current to your device, and it does it on AC instead of USB charging. Old USB charging devices like this or battery devices used to have two ports, one for Samsung type devices, one for Apple. You don't have to worry about that anymore. As far as usability, this comes, as we mentioned, it's a 6,000 milliamp battery, and it can charge at up to 2 amps. So what that means is you're going to be able to use this device to charge your, let's say, Galaxy S4 2+ times, and probably your iPhone 5, iPhone 5S 2+ times. So that's what you're looking at here. Certainly good enough for a long trip on a plane or a train ride or something like that. You're going to be able to use this device to watch those movies or listen to music or whatever you want to do. And reliability, you know, these have had a really good rating online. I've been a long-time Anker battery user. I've had my own Anker device, which I'll talk about in a minute, and it has lasted great. I've had no problems with it. Parts don't come flying off. It hasn't run out. The battery hasn't reset or gotten to the point where you can't charge it up again like a lot of devices do. So in terms of reliability, it's really, really good. Now, I've got to mention there are larger options. So if you say, hey, this is great, but I want to do other things with my battery, or I want to charge a really big tablet, you might want to go with a larger option. I've got one here that I can show you. This is they now call this the Pro model, the Anker Astro Pro. It looks a little bit different than this if you look at it online, but this is a 10,000 milliamp battery. And it has a nice hard button there that you can press and see what your status is, what the battery level is. And it also has a number of ports. You can see this is the old model, so it has the iPhone and Samsung port. But the really cool thing about this is it has an output that can be either 12 volt or 9 volt. What that means is that I can plug that into, for example, a Raspberry Pi connected to an old LCD display out of an old laptop, and I can run the whole thing off that battery, making my little project I'm working on here completely portable for up to 6 hours, which for me is awesome. So, pros and cons. Pros, price, which is great. Reliability, which is great. And also usability, the fact that you can plug in any device is great. So those are all the pros. Cons, you may want to buy a bigger battery if you have a larger device like a tablet, something like that. It's not really a con, but there's options out there. And again, the price is reasonable. The 10,000 milliamp battery that Anker sells, the Anker Astro Pro, is only about $60. So you can definitely check that out if you've got one of those bigger devices. So I would completely give the Anker Astro 6,000 milliamp battery a buy. If you need a little bit of extra juice for your phone, definitely go out and check it out. Thanks a lot. Now back to you.
That is the Anker external battery called the Astro. Anker makes a ton of stuff at very low prices, and I have been always very happy. So I agree with Aaron. It's a definite buy if you need more juice on the loose. Now, I'm excited. I am excited. I've been waiting for this. You know, I got my Mac Pro early this year, but the problem with the Mac Pro, very, very fast, SSDs inside, and they're not huge. A 500 gig drive, you know, pretty much the operating system and the apps do it. I don't have room for anything else. So I've been looking for a fast external drive. Ooh. You want to go Thunderbolt 2. That's the latest interface. It's something supported by the Mac Pro, but there have been a dearth of true Thunderbolt 2 devices. I've been waiting for LaCie's little big disc. It's finally here. Let's take a look. I'm going to walk on over to our radio corner so we can take a look at the little big disc 2. And before you get all excited about this, I do want to say one thing. It is very pricey. But, of course, if you're somebody who's using a Mac Pro, this will also work with any Thunderbolt 1 device, of course. You know, you won't get all the benefit of it. But if you're somebody who can afford a Mac Pro, this is a pretty nice choice. It is little, it's small. That's why they call it the little big disc. And most importantly, it's fast. This is what you're paying $12.99 for. The little big disc 2, Thunderbolt 2, and it's true Thunderbolt 2. I have a number of Thunderbolt 2 devices that are really just Thunderbolt to USB. This is actually true Thunderbolt 2, and I'll tell you, it is so fast. I'm going to pull up the benchmarks we did on this thing. It's actually faster. It's so fast it outpaced the ability of the Blackmagic disk speed test to measure it. And the reason I say that is, you see, there's the write speed. Is that right? 1,000 megabytes a second? That's a gigabyte a second write speed. Now, read speed's showing somewhat less, 717 megabytes a second. I think that's an error because almost all SSDs, you get a read speed that is faster than a write speed. Maybe that has to do with the RAID 0, I'm not sure. Enough said. This is really fast. I put it on last year's Mac, or actually 2 years ago, the 2012 MacBook Pro with Retina display. That is a Thunderbolt 1. This was faster than the SSD internal to the MacBook Pro. This thing is super fast. Now, I'll tell you why. First of all, 20 gigabits per second on the Thunderbolt 2 port. And by the way, you can daisy chain them, so there's a second port there. So you can have a number of Thunderbolt devices. If you have some Thunderbolt 1 devices, you want to put this first so it doesn't slow down the bus. You need all the speed you can get out of this. Also inside, and this explains some of the expense, there's not one but two 500 gigabyte SSDs. As delivered from the box, these SSDs, these solid-state drives, and by the way, they're not SATA, they're PCI Express. They come as RAID 0. That's what Alex Lindsay calls scary RAID. That's because if either of the two drives fails, the whole thing fails. You can set it up. There's software that comes with the little big disk to set it up for redundant mode, RAID 1. So it's running in Stripe, but you could run it in redundant mode. There's also a way to run this as a JBOD, just a bunch of disks drive, and get the full terabyte. I'm using it in scary RAID 0. I'm just going to make sure I keep it backed up, mostly because I want all of this throughput. And the reason this is an important product for the Mac Pro marketplace is Apple spec'd the Mac Pro for editing 4K video. And to do that, you need a lot of speed. That's why Blackmagic makes this benchmark application. You see all those green checks? That means almost any video format you can import, you can work with. Now, it only goes up to 2K, but I can tell you the speed of this 4K video, it would have no problem at all. No problem at all. So, pros on this. It is beautiful. Beautiful design, as all the LaCie discs are. It looks like the bigger LaCie discs, only it's little. And I'll tell you what, when you put it next to a Mac Pro, you're going to have people saying, wow, you have a gorgeous setup, don't you? It really, and it's suitable in size, too. You don't want a big, giant disc next to it. Speed is unparalleled. Thunderbolt 2 is super fast. This uses all the Thunderbolt bandwidth by using dual PCIe SSDs for maximum throughput. Really nicely done. I have to say, it's as fast as the internal drive on the Mac Pro, and that's really good news. It means you have an external drive that's as fast as the internal drive, and that is very, very fast indeed. Cons, there's just one, $12.99. And I think, of course, if you're using it in RAID 0, the requirement that you back it up. But the people who are going to be using this for video editing, they understand that. I don't think that's a problem. And frankly, I think they're willing to pay $1,299 for a solution that allows them to do 4K video. Buy, try, don't buy. Well, I got to say, it's a buy if you have a Thunderbolt 2 computer. That means you've already spent a lot of money. And you have the need for this kind of speed. An absolute buy. Couldn't be happier with the LaCie Little Big Disc 2 featuring a Thunderbolt 2 interface. Another thing I got to praise LaCie for before we run, they include the Thunderbolt cable in here. A lot of drives don't. And that's a big expense. That's like another 50 bucks. I guess for $12.99 you could expect a Thunderbolt cable in here. All right, that's it for Before You Buy this week. I want to thank all our reviewers. Thank you, too, for watching. Remember, Before You Buy is on YouTube, youtube.com/beforeyoubuy. And there are a couple of reasons you might want to check it out there. Each review is individually wrapped on YouTube. So if you want to say to a friend, hey, I know you're doing 4K video editing. Here's a video or review of that drive you were looking at. We want to have each individual review up there like that. That's youtube.com/beforeyoubuy. Of course, the whole show is there as well. And you'll find the whole show on our website, twit.tv/BYB, and wherever finer netcasts are stored. Audio as well as video, although I think it probably is better if you watch the show. And let's see what it is. Oh, if you have another product you'd like us to review, if there's something you really want to know about, we are always interested in hearing from you. BYB@twit.tv. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you next time. And remember, you got to watch before you buy. Take care, everybody.